Hello, hello. Good to see you all. Yay, everyone. I can see you guys now. I love it. All right. So type into the chat. I want you to know why you're here today. What brought you to today's workshop? Just giving some other people some time to get on board. Oh, I love you too, and I miss you too. I love it. Curious. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'll just let people in as they come. Going through transition. Perfect. Some struggles through the process. Yep. Excellent, excellent. All right, I've given everybody a minute to get here, so let's get started. Let's rock. Yes, so some of you are here because you have health issues. Some of you are at a crossroads. Some of you are here because you're curious. Some of you are here because you know there's something in your life that you want to change or that you're looking to make a change in. That's great. This is actually your call to destiny. I was actually talking to Deja just now at my front desk for people who don't know. And she's like, change your destiny. That sounds like such a big workshop. And I'm like, it sounds that way, but it's actually little steps over time. And then you look back and you look at your life and you're like, wow, that was when I changed. That's when I made a huge leap or big transition in my life and in my healing or in my journey. And so if you haven't read it, there's a book called A Hero's Journey. It's by Joseph Campbell. And in it, he found that there's one crucial part of every hero or heroine's journey, and it's this thing called a call to adventure. So it's the moment when the hero or heroine is living his or her normal life, and then something changes, right? So that could be insert, health challenge, insert change of job, loss of person, all the things, struggle, and for some people, struggle, pile them on top of each other, right? And for those people and that part, you have the opportunity to go on a journey, should you choose, right? Now, most people, the first time they're asked, they're like, no, don't want to go on this journey. I'd rather just stay where I am. And then life will knock again and again. But eventually, life will stop knocking, okay? And you won't have that call to adventure that you had. So while it's there, it's great to jump on board. All right. And so people have been asking me, what's the difference between fate, like something's your fate, and your destiny? And it's really, this is how the way I look at it. So let's say, I think we're all women here, right? Yes. Okay. So let's say you meet the man of your dreams, okay, at the movies or whatever, at a bar, whatever you want to go. Fate is meeting them. Destiny is what you do with them after. Okay. So destiny is something that you can change, right? It might be fate that you ended up with, let's say a chronic illness. Okay. But your destiny is that you can change that. It doesn't mean you can still live with it, or you can move through it, or you can learn to still achieve all that you want to achieve or be or do or have while living with it. Okay. So destiny is something you get to choose, right? But when the destiny comes knocking, are you going to answer the call? And it's a question that you need to ask yourself, right? If you do answer the call, what happens is usually you undergo some kind of training period or test. We don't like tests, but the universe sends you a test. So it tests you so that you can develop the skills that you need for your journey. All right. So let's take, for instance, somebody got sick. All right. So some of the skills that they develop through that process could be learning to eat healthier. Okay. Learning to manage their energy, learning what their body requires, right? So those are some skills that they are learning to tap into their intuition, learning to slow down. Whatever the case is, there's always something to be learned or a new skill that is required for you to go on your journey, right? But the tests, they always show up in a not so fun way, okay? So I'll give you an example. You say you want financial abundance, bam, you get a big bill to pay. And it's because the universe wants you to know, how are you when you handle, let's say, a bill? You know what happens? Who do you become when that bill shows up, right? Because if you can't handle, let's say, a small bill and you want to be financially abundant and super and whatever, then you're going to have more bills to pay. And who are you going to be when you're paying a larger bill, right? Like, how are you going to show up? Okay, so part of it is they give you these little tests, right? You say you want health, bam, you get sick, right? Or you get even more sick. And the universe is like, how badly do you want it? Right? So you get there's a test that comes, right? So that you can gain your skill set along the way. Okay? Once you gain that skill set, you anchor it into your nervous system. And then now you have that code, you have that skill, right? And so that key, you have the key, another way to say it, to unlock the next level of who you want to be. So your destiny is calling you to move you forward, right? To pull you into another version of who you are, to pull you into a version of you that can use all the potential that you have within you. Sounds like a video game, yeah, pretty much. It does. If you read the hero's journey, a lot of movies come from it, in terms of, like, you have the heroine, they meet their, somebody along the way, something happens to them, and then they battle the other side, and then they come out victorious, right? That's essentially the journey over and over again. But it's okay if you don't answer the call the first time, right? There's going to be another opportunity. But again, if you keep ignoring those inner calls to change, or that inner urge inside of you, and you stop following your intuition, it does get quieter and quieter over time. And then fewer opportunities start to knock. So I've often been told, I used to be so intuitive when I was younger, and then, something happened, or I stopped listening to myself, like to my intuition, and let other people tell me what to do. And then they're like, but so now I don't have access to it. When we don't use something, we start to lose that, right? When we were all born, or most of us were born, we could probably do the splits. Like, babies can bring their toes to their mouth and eat their toes, right? But not too many people are going to be able to do that right now. The splits, I mean. I know I can't, but great. But if you were, let's say, an Olympic gymnast before, and you still practice the splits every day, you could probably still do that, because you're still using that range of motion, right? So if you don't continue to use certain ranges of motion, certain ranges of emotion, and stretch even your thought patterns, okay, because a lot of people have the same thoughts over and over and over again. If you don't push yourself to grow in all those directions, and spiritually as well, then you're gonna lose that range. Okay, so it's the range that you can experience. And people ask, why is it important to grow, let's say, the range of emotion? Well, if you only had a reaction of happy and sad, anything that happens to you is happy or sad, happy or sad. Oh, the car cut me off, I'm happy or I'm sad, right? But if you had happy, sad, angry, or irritated, joyful, then you have a wider range of response that your nervous system and your body can handle. Okay? And so if someone who is responding in anger versus irritation, there's a different response in the body and in the nervous system and in their words and in, like, the chemicals and the hormones that are released. All those are changed just by a simple shift of emotion. Okay? And same with the thought patterns too, because your thoughts will help guide where you direct your energy, right? Okay. So when you're evaluating your decision to answer, this call to destiny, you need to know that there is a price to pay. Okay, there's a price to pay for everything. So there's a price to pay for anything you want in your life. There's a price to pay for being healthy, right? But there's a bigger price to pay for being unhealthy, right? So let's look at what price might you pay to be healthy. Okay, you may have to eat better foods than some people that you know, right? You may choose to buy organic foods or whole foods or get them, grass-fed beef or whatever the case may be, right? You may have to say no to certain functions that other people go to, right? You may choose not to drink alcohol as much as your friends, right? So there is a price to pay for being healthy, right? You might have to pay for a membership at the gym or wherever you exercise that someone who is not doing that wouldn't pay, right? So there's a price to pay for everything. There's a price to pay to be successful in your career, right? So when you're evaluating this call, you need to also be conscious of the price you have to pay. Everything is an exchange of resources. So resources in time, in money, in relationships, whatever the case. That's a law. One of the universal laws called the law of equivalent exchange, right? So in order to obtain something, you need to exchange it for something else. So you put in, again, time, money, resource, whatever. Okay? So just be aware that people are like, oh, well, I didn't know all these things could happen to me if I said yes. And there are going to be some great things, but also there is always the flip side, because you have to decide what is no longer a part of you and what is still a part of who you want to be. Okay. The hero's journey is about transformation and changing. And like I said, getting the skills and being a different version of who you are. So I want you just to, in your mind's eye, take a look at where you are right now. Okay, what's your life like? So there's probably some things that are going really well, some other areas that might need some improvement, or you might be at that crossroads. Just take a minute to evaluate where you are. And if you look at your life currently, and let's say fast forward its trajectory 5 years, are you happy or are you satisfied with where you are 5 years from now? And again, there might be areas in which you are extremely satisfied and areas that you aren't. Okay? And just, if there's an area where you're not satisfied or that you need to change or you're feeling called to change, okay, why not do it now? Why not make the change? Why not take a call on this adventure that's coming right now that you are in and make the change now? So write in the chat, what's an area of your life or a part of whatever's going on with you that you feel you're being called to change? Yeah, massive changes in relationship and career. Awesome, you have. Be more social, career, fun. All right, looks like a few people are changing jobs. Health, okay, that's a big one. More fun, yeah. Fixing house to be epic, I love it. I love the word epic. Schooling your son, wonderful. Say hi to him, I miss him. All right, so how do you change your destiny? A simple answer is you make a decision. You make a decision that from now on, you're going to be pulled forward by who you could be, instead of staying attached to who you are in the past or who you were in the past. So it's a conscious decision every moment about what you want. Is whatever that's, if you're looking to answer a question, what you need to decide is this going to move me towards the direction that I want or away from it? And that's it. And that's how you make the decision. Right? And it's making that decision over and over and over again until you manifest the life that you desire. And that's how you change your destiny. Decisions, small decisions over time. Look back at the most difficult decisions that you've made in your life. You might even be there right now. That's when you changed your life, right? And saying, okay, enough of this. For most people, it starts with enough of this. I'm not going to let this happen anymore, or something needs to change. I can't keep doing this, right? That's one of the first clues that now is the time to do it, right? The fact that you have a desire to do something else that you're not fully, I'm not gonna say happy, because you can choose happiness, but the desire that's there means that it's evidence that what you want is actually here, because you wouldn't have a desire for it if it wasn't already something you could accomplish. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. The fact that you have or you feel something that you desire, whether that's a different job, whether it's to write a book or heal, or go to the next level of income, whatever it is, that desire was placed in you for a reason, right? It's showing you, it's right there saying what's possible. As long as you're in alignment, make decisions in alignment with what you desire, then you will head in that direction. Desire is that doorbell waiting for you to ring it, and then you have to walk through the door, right? The fact that you can feel it, and that some people can see it so clearly and feel it so clearly, it means you're ready to receive it. But what stops you is that you don't decide to step into that. Okay? Your decision to go forward must come first. And then, so insert the word that applies to you most: universe, God, spirit, nature, whatever, presents you with the next step. Okay, so you decide, and then the next step appears. Right? You decide, next step appears. However, this isn't what we were taught in school. In school, we were taught, okay, get all the evidence and then make the decision, right? But in the school of life, it is, okay, I decide that this is what I want, and then everything shows up, right? Because some people, let's say you want to take a course, right? And it costs money. People are like, well, I don't have enough money. Well, you haven't decided that you want the course. So you don't need the money until you decide you want to take the course, right? Once you decide to take the course, then you need to look for the money piece. But if you didn't, if it's not even something that you want, then that's not a problem that you have yet, right? So make a decision on what you want. Is this course, whatever it is that you want to do, sewing, knitting, something, going to move you towards your desire? And if it is yes, then you make that decision, and then the universe will present you with something else, and then you'll have to make a decision on that, and then something else. But you don't need to move forward until you decide that that's what you want to do. Okay, so you don't need to. We're taught it backwards. We don't need to see evidence before making a decision. We just have to know where we want to go, or the direction that you want to go in. You don't even have to know like the whole picture of, I want this in my life and that. You just need to know what is the next step forward for you. Okay, if you're looking to heal from, let's say, a chronic illness or something, and you're just starting out, you don't need to know 20 steps in advance. You just need to know the next step for you, right? Like if you were just working out, starting to work out, and we went to the gym, if I gave you all the weights in the weight section, it's not going to help you because you're not able to lift that yet, right? So you could get the keys to all the success or to the entire universe, but you don't need it. You just need the next step first. You need to lift that 10-pound weight. And once you get good at that, you can go to 15 and then 20. And then eventually the world opens up to you, but you don't need the entire weight of everything in the gym when you first start out. You only need a few things, right? So a lot of times we say, okay, I can't make the next step because I don't know the whole entire map, but you don't need to know that yet. Okay, you just need to know the next step. And the next step is going to be whatever is calling you or asking you to move forward. Okay, any question? If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in the chat. I just want to make sure everyone's understanding that we don't need evidence in order to make it the decision. You need to make this decide, and then everything shows up. Okay. And of course, awareness to figure out that I'm definitely getting caught in that. Yeah, thanks for that awareness. Perfect. You said the next magical word is awareness, right? Be careful of what you wish for because it could come true. How many times have you said, oh, I wish this would happen, and then it happened right away? The joke is that we can't, there's a time lag usually between what you want, asking for what you want and getting what you want, because as humans, we could be like, oh, say something that we don't mean, right? Like in your head, you're like, oh, I wish that person would, something would happen to them. And then if you actually meant, like if something actually happened to them, right? Then you would feel terrible about it. So that's why there's usually a lag between asking for something and then receiving what you want. Right. But yes, you're right. Be careful of what you ask for. Okay. So why don't we go after our dreams? Anyone know? Any ideas? Fear? Yep.
Scary.
Scary. Yeah, it's scary. Also, we used to go after our dreams because when we were a child, we wanted everything, whatever our heart desires, we wanted, right? I mean, I just took my kids to don't do this in your Christmas, to the toy store. And they're like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I had to be, the trick is if you are taking kids to the toy store near Christmas, you just said, awesome, let's put on your Santa list. Let's put it on your Santa list. That's the only way to get out of there unscathed. But anyways, if you have children or are around children or have ever seen a child, they're like, I want that. And then once you're done in one store, they go to the next one, you think, oh, they're satisfied, but they're not. They're like, oh, I want the ice cream, I want that, and I want that now. But they're just going after what they desire. Okay, and they're relentless in their pursuit of their desires. Okay, relentless. But over time, what were we taught? We were taught, oh, you shouldn't ask for more. You shouldn't have that, right? Or you're asking for too much, right? Or we say, oh, we want to be an astronaut. And we're told, well, that's not practical. So then over time, we stopped wanting. Sometimes we even got in trouble for wanting what we wanted. Right? Have you ever gotten in trouble because you said you wanted something and someone's like, you can't have what you want? Right? We've heard that before. And so for some of you, what you need to do is give yourself permission to want what you want. Right? You need to give yourself permission to go after your dream. Right? Another reason is that people don't go after their dreams is that they're trying to protect somebody. So here's why. We create the desire, right? We say, okay, I'm going to go after it. And then we stop before we take the action. Okay. Unconsciously, we say, oh, where I am is good enough. I'm okay. All right. I know how to handle where I am right now. Right? I'm good here. What? Because everyone is okay with you being where you are right now. Okay. If you try and change and go to the next level or become another version of yourself, then someone else might have a problem with you and you don't want that, right? In terms of family dynamics, it could even be something like, oh, I can't be seen more than somebody else, okay? If you were the quiet one in your family, the way you grew up, You know, like if your sister was always the one that was seen, you can't be like, unconsciously, you might say, okay, I can't be seeing more than her. Okay, or I can't out earn my parents, right? Or I can't out earn my partner. So then you say, okay, I'm comfortable where I am. I'm just going to settle here and accept what it is because I can handle here. So another element to look into is who would be uncomfortable if I became more than them. And I'm not talking more worthy or more anything because we're all equal in that plane. But if I had more skills or more success or more than I am right now, who might I lose in this process? And that may be what's stopping you as well. Because we stop ourselves from going after our desires. We all said, a few of you said fear because you're scared, but it's because you're unconsciously scared, right? Of what or who you're going to lose. Right? If I go after this, what am I going to lose? But I already told you, there's something to lose in everything that you go after. There's something to lose whether you're staying here. There's something to lose if you're going forward. There's something to lose if you're going backwards. So there's something to, and it's not even lose, it's to give up, right? It's something you choose to give up. Because if you want to fly, you have to let go of things that are weighing you down. And what are things that are weighing you down? Anger, fear, resentment, shame, guilt, all of that. Those are heavy emotions, heavy thoughts, heavy feelings, right? And so they're weighing you down and they're keeping you stuck where you are. And so, yeah, if you're looking to become another version of yourself, you're going to have to let go of some of that, if not all of it. Imagine how light and how free you would be if you could let go of all of that. Okay? It comes back to safety, right? We're scared because we don't feel safe. We're going to lose something. We're going to lose someone, right? You don't want to outgrow your family of origin. You don't want to outgrow your partner. You don't want to outgrow your friends. But who says you will, right? It's true that not everybody's going to accept you if you change. But at the same time, you might not want to be in relationships with people who aren't going to accept you if you change, right? That's something you have to look at, right? Right. So, any questions coming up so far? Everyone's going to go after what they desire? Okay. So it's one of the things that helps people most in their transformation. This is one of the latest researches that came out is community. Okay, and it can be community, it doesn't have to be your family. It could be a community of your own choosing or people of your own choosing. But if you are with a group of people that it's heading in a direction in which you want to go in, it doesn't matter what else is going on, you can still move forward, okay, because you have everybody there. There was a study of Italians because in their culture, even though they live long, despite drinking a lot and smoking and whatever, the study was done in Italy. And because they had all their family always around them, right? There's a big culture of family and like everyone's your uncle, everyone's your aunt, everyone's your cousin, all the things, because there's always people around you and they laugh a lot, right? So yes, it's important to eat healthy, but you can overcome some of those other determinants if you have a community, right? And if you're laughing and if you have people that you can feel will be there with you, right? Community support, your personal support. Yes. They support you, they hold you accountable, me too, right? And so what I wanted to say is community is huge, right? And the work, like going after your destiny, that's a huge thing, right? You don't want to walk that journey alone. You want to be with other people who are also with you on that same path, right? And so that when you have those times where you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm worthy of it. That community can bring you up, right? For whenever your mind decides, your subconscious mind decides to play tricks on you. Okay. Because this is the going after your destiny, it's the work that sets you free, right? And if you set yourself free, you set those around you free, you set the people that came before you free, you set the people, if you have children, that came after you free, right? So when you set yourself free, you set everybody else free. No one else needs to do the work. Like, I always get messages from people, they're like, how can I change my mother, husband, father, wife, whatever? Said, shift you first. The job, it's an inside job, right? You change you, and as you change the way you see things, the things around you start to change, right? So it is working on the inside. And when you go after your dreams, when you go after your goals, don't you think you're going to inspire others to do the same? Of course, it's inspiring to watch. We love movies where we're watching the hero, and no one wants perfection, right? They don't want to see a perfect example of, you know, someone's life who's perfect. They want to see the struggle because they can relate in the struggle, right? When our hero goes down and we're watching it, we relate and we care so much about the hero because we know what it's like to be in the struggle. Okay, so if you don't think you're ready for it, that's okay, because you don't have to be. You just have to be who you truly are and show up as that version of yourself. And then the rest, you will magnetize people into that. Other people who are on that same journey will come. Okay, look at you all, you're all here. So we can talk about destiny, so we can talk about fate, so we can talk about the heroes, heroines' journey. So what is your journey? We're nearing the end of the year. Time is, not that it matters, you know, the next calendar, but a lot of people start thinking about this now. What is it that you want to be, do, have for next year? What is the tone that you want to set? What changes do you want to make? How do you want to show up? What version of you wants to show up? Go ahead and type that in, or you can take yourself off mute if you'd like to, if you have a good idea of what you would like.
I'll go.
Okay.
I think we're just getting through this process of thinking about trusting my body's potential to heal and not getting, you know, the fear that kind of holds me back from doing things, or it's kind of always there, working on that, but just trusting that it's doing its job and that whatever it is that's changing, the healing. Like, I was thinking about this today, just as a part of a protocol. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this protocol, but I'm not going to feel better like this. Although I do believe that's possible, but I'm like, it's going to take time for things to work through my system, and just keep trusting and don't go into that fear-based thought of, I'm not safe again. I'm not safe. What's happening? Everything's out of control. Just like trust that my body's doing the right thing in the right amount of time. Yeah.
That's huge. And again, when you cut your finger, you don't have to say, okay, body, go and heal it, right? It does it on its own. So you have to trust that that same system that knows how to heal your finger knows how to heal something else, right? You don't question a bruise. You don't stare at the bruise. Even if you break your arm, most people are like, okay, yeah, I'm stuck in a cast, but my body can heal it in some way, right? And so trust that that same ability to heal is going to be the same ability that is healing something else that's happening in your body, right? Because we don't question that.
And I see it for other people so easily. Like, you know, it's so funny how you have perspective on other people's situations. You're like, yes, this is happening, and look at all this wonderful, you know, shifts that are going on and everything. But then when it comes to yourself, that fear of, you know, shit hitting the fan really quickly. It's like really deeply ingrained. Like it's, I guess, just like you said, continuing to practice over and over again that will, I can't get my words out properly
Okay.
today,
That's okay.
but to continue to practice that it will change the pattern in the system.
Yes, absolutely. And again, that's when the community comes in too, because we don't generally see ourselves very clearly. If we saw ourselves clearly for who we are, we would be doing things completely different. But other people might see you more clearly than you see yourself. And so they can hold you and lift you up into the version of who they see you as, right?
Yes.
So like you see healing for others, others can see the healing for you.
Got it.
Awesome. Anyone else like to share? Trust the process. Yes, accept all the phases, even if it's scary. Oh yeah. When you're going through this, your stomach's gonna turn and turn. There'll be days where you're like, oh my gosh, it's that roller coaster, right? It's you go up and then you also scream going down, right? But you don't know where the twists and the turns and everything happens to be. Everyone thinks healing is like linear, when in fact it's like one of these, and sometimes it's like a triple loop to loop, you know? And you're like, how am I upside down? But it's all part of the journey. Okay. Yes. And remember that you've made it through every one of your most difficult days because you're still here right now. Right? And when we talk about faith, it has to be strong, like as strong as we don't question whether the sun's going to come out. It's gray today. I think we're all mostly in Ottawa, but it's gray here. And I don't say, oh, the sun's not coming out. I just know it's going to come out again. Right. But sometimes we're like, oh, I'm not going to heal from this low back pain. Oh, okay, but I've healed from it before. Why wouldn't I heal from it again? Right? So you have to have the faith of, I'm not questioning whether the sun is coming out or not. Okay, just because it's a cloudy day. The sun is coming out some point in time, I'm going to see it again. That's the faith that you need. Right? And faith is actually built through action, right? If you have over and over and over again had the skill of getting yourself out of whatever you've got, wherever you've gotten yourself into, then that your faith that you're going to do it again, right? But you're not going to have the faith if you don't go try it, right? If you haven't done it, then you're not going to have the faith. All right, so we're going to do a bit of a meditation now. Okay, you can go ahead and close your eyes. If you'd like to take your video off, you can, whatever you desire, okay? But just remember, everyone else's eyes are closed, so they're not going to see you. So I want you to close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to imagine that you're going for a walk in a forest on a beautiful sunny day. Feel the wind blowing in your face. You can touch the vegetation around you. Maybe you feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Up ahead, you see a clearing in the forest. And as you walk closer, you see a beautiful house. And as you go towards the house, the gates of the house open, and you notice that your name is written on the gates. You enter the doors and you smell fresh baking in the air. Everything seems really familiar and you feel really at home there. To the right of you, you notice a set of stairs going down to the basement. And you slowly walk down the stairs. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When you reach the bottom, you see a familiar, wise, old lady sitting in a rocking chair. You realize that it's you. It's an older version of you. You're about 90 years old, smiling and looking full of life. You sit across from this version of yourself and you ask, what do I need to know? And then you listen for her guidance. When she's finished, give her a big hug and turn towards the stairs. You're going to climb up the stairs, out the door, past the gates. Notice as you step into the forest again with the sun on your face. I want you to wiggle your hands and toes. Slowly come back to today. And if you'd like to share any of the wisdom that you received, you can go ahead and do so either by taking yourself off mute or by writing it in the chat. It's up to you. But write down the wisdom that you told yourself, this wise version of you told yourself. Listen to yourself. You know what to do. You do. The answers are already within you. No matter what you do or choose, you will always find a way. So just go. Not to be scared. You've got this. It will work out. It always does. Beautiful. Linian, did you have your hand up? Oh, okay. Just do it. Love it. Love it. Awesome. Great job, guys. That was excellent. And if you have any questions, let me know. I am starting a container for anyone that wants to join in December. It's called the Daily Dose of Healing. And it's a 2-month program where from Monday to Thursday, I send you, okay, I record at 5 a.m., but really nobody shows up at 5 a.m. with me. A few people do. But I want to record it early so that you get it in your mailbox by around 6 a.m. And so it's just, sometimes it's a meditation, sometimes it's an activation, journaling prompts like meditation, yoga, mindset things. Anyways, you get that in your inbox Monday to Thursday. And the reason we're doing it now is because most people start to, do their New Year's resolutions or whatever in January. They go strong for a month and then they're done. My gym is usually quiet by February again. All right. But when we're talking about changing your destiny, it's not a 1-month thing. It's like a road, right? And so during this transition time, it's fun to travel in community and together. And so I created this program so that we can have community, and then we can also take steps forward into our healing, into our abundance, into moving into the destiny that you seek. So if you want to join us, then I'll leave the link in the chat, and you get a recording of this, so I will also send it out later. All right. Any questions before we go? Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming today, and we will see you guys the next time. Bye.